Truma iNet-X control panel. This is a quick run through on how to operate your system. This is your standby screen that you will see when you press one of the buttons to wake up the screen. Quick indicators, so you have your internal temperature of the motorhome, you have the holding tank for the water heater, you have your battery levels, and you have your water levels. Just quick indicators that you can see in more depth in the menu itself. The top right icon, the plugged in symbol, that is showing that we are plugged into power. If you plugged your vehicle in and you do not see this icon, go check where you've plugged into. It is very rare that the issue is with the vehicle. 9 times out of 10, where you have plugged into, the last person there has turned off the switch, the main isolator, or the circuit breaker, whatever is controlling your power box. Go outside, turn that on, and you should see this icon. To get to the menu, we just press unlock screen, and this will bring up all your different sections you can operate. The only ones you will need to use when inside one of our motorhomes is resources, room climate, your hot water, your switches, your notifications. There should be no reason for you to try set timers on the system. It will just overcomplicate things. The iNet app, you do not need this also. Settings are already set on this system. You do not need this. And I do not suggest trying to turn off this whole system with this button. Why this is because if we click this and if we go turn off, it will shut down the whole system. Some people like this. Me personally, I don't. Why this is because if you were on your computer at home and you tried to turn the whole thing off, so you shut down your whole system, and if you want to go straight back on it with the click of a button, that is not going to happen. It is the exact same thing with this Truma iNet system. If you shut it down and you go to turn it back on, it is going to take roughly 5 to 6 minutes for it to boot back up and get back up to speed for you to be able to use the different functions in it. It is time that you do not want to be wasting. I suggest what you want to do when turning this off, if something is on, the green bar is up the top. I refer to this later on in the instructional videos. But what you want to do when turning this off is just go into your heaters or whatever has a green bar. Press your off icon and just make sure there are no green bars on top of any sections. What it's going to do from here is put itself into sleep mode, and all you need to do is press either the home button or the go back button, and it'll bring that screen straight back up and you can get straight into using your functions. Resources. This is your battery levels and your water levels. On your batteries, you will only really have to check your leisure battery. I suggest checking this when you are not plugged into power. If you are plugged in, you will not have to worry about your leisure battery dropping, as it is constantly going to be charging as you are operating things. If you are not plugged into power, you will need to check where your leisure battery is at. If you see the 13.6 volts get anywhere near 12.5 volts when you are not plugged in, that is far too low for your functions on the inside of the motorhome to operate, i.e. heater, pumps, lights, etc. We suggest plugging into power every 3rd night so that your battery has sufficient time to charge and you are able to operate your functions. Your water levels. This is your fresh, this is your waste. These work on 33% increments and will drop down as such. Fresh water from 100 to 66 to 33 to 0. Wastewater from 0 to 33 to 66 to 100. We suggest filling and emptying as often as you can. If you have the opportunity to do so at your campground, then by all means do it. It is going to save you a lot of time. Room climate. Room climate is your house heater. This is what's going to heat the inside of the vehicle in the cold nights and mornings. You can either heat or ventilate. Ventilating is just going to cycle air throughout the vehicle, through the heater system, but without the heater operating. If we go back, green bar up the top shows that something in that section is on, i.e. we have the heater ventilating the motorhome. If we click back into it to turn that off, we go off. Green bar is gone. If we would like to heat the vehicle, heating, and now what you have on the screen is the thermostat of the vehicle and what you are going to set your heater to. Down the bottom, the smaller number where it says currently is what your home thermostat is reading. We're currently 11 degrees inside the motorhome and we have it set to 23 degrees. How this is going to work is if your number that you have set at the top is higher than the lower number, the heater is going to operate until they both match up. Once the current temperature has met the same as what we have set it to, it will run for a period of time, 2 to 3 minutes, and notice that they have married up. Once it has, it is going to shut off the system. Once this drops again, say it goes to 18 degrees, 19 degrees, it will bounce back up until they match up again. And that's just how it regulates your temperature. You can see on the menu, we have the green bar up the top, but we also have 23 degrees. That is showing what we are wanting to heat to and that our heater is on. If we go back, if we go off, green bar is gone, our heater has turned off. Hot water. Hot water is very similar to the room climate. Both of these heaters run off of the same system. You can run one or the other, you can run both at the same time. It doesn't matter, they run off of the same thing. So if we want to go to hot water, we just click. Even more simple than the room climate, all we do is turn on. So on the screen, you should always have this set to hot. Hot is going to heat it to roughly 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. This is generally what you would get in a hotel or an Airbnb. Pretty much exactly the same heat. What you can see down the bottom is the current temperature of the water in the heater's holding tank. So the holding tank holds 20 litres of water. This is separate from your fresh water, obviously, because you're still going to be able to get cold water through your system, but this is just going to heat that water for when you guys want to do some dishes or if you want to have a hot shower. As you can see, the red circles are pulsing. This is showing that our heater is operating. This is steadily going to increase that temperature down the bottom. This is not an instant hot water system. This is going to take some time. Generally, if it were midday, not so cold, it'd probably take about 15 to 20 minutes for that to heat. Colder mornings, maybe about 20 to 25 minutes. On our menu, very similar to your room climate when we're operating that heater, we have a green bar up the top and we're showing that we're wanting to run it to hot. If we go back in, you can see on the screen also, you can operate your water pump from here. You just got to make sure we click it properly. You will need to have your water pump running for you to run any tap in the vehicle. If you want to flush the toilet, if you want to have a shower, if you want to wash your hands, that obviously needs to be on or you are not going to have water coming through those taps. We let this do its thing and we should be able to get some hot water through our system. Switches is next. This is pretty simple. I just want to make a note though. I was just going through the hot water. With the heater system, it doesn't like to be turned on and off very quickly. So why this is if it doesn't heat up properly, there's going to be a carbon buildup in the heater. If you're operating either your room climate or your hot water, do not be turning it on and turning it off very quickly. It is not good for the system. So if you do want to heat something, I suggest being sure of it and make sure you heat it thoroughly and that it reaches the desired temperature that you have it set to. So that's why I still haven't turned off the water heater just yet. But if you remember what I did in the last video with the hot water, I turned the pump on, explaining that the pump needs to be on for all your taps, flushing the toilet, etc. Turning it on in the hot water section has also turned it on in the switches section. So if we go into here, you can see you can turn your water pump on here too. You do not always need hot water to turn your pump on. You might just want to wash your hands or flush the toilet. You will not need hot water for that, so you can still turn on your water pump from here. You also have your outdoor light. This is your awning light. It is located just above the habitation door on the outside of the vehicle. This is where you turn this light on. This light doesn't have a switch, so you literally need to turn it on the panel. If we press this one, this is going to activate all our interior lights. So this is the master switch. This doesn't turn them on. There is switches located for these things. So they are spotted around the motorhome. You will find them as you go. This is just the master switch. So if you do have your lights on and you want to turn them all off in one go, all it is click this off. Turning them off is just the same as turning them on. You just need to push that box so the tick is removed. If we push this down and if we go back, that green bar is gone. Nothing in that section is on. Lastly, we have our notification section. So this is very important when running your motorhome. If you have a notification, it is going to pop up in this box. So if we click there, it says no notifications. Great, your system is working perfectly. That's what we want to see. More often than not though, something is going to pop up. It's just how these systems work. There is a lot of sensors, and if it senses that there's an imbalance in something operating in the vehicle, it is going to bring something up here. So what happens? 9 times out of 10, your notification is going to refer to one of your heaters. If it does pop up, instead of green lines up the top, you are going to see red lines. Even if you're not operating your heaters, it will bring something on top of them. So there will be 2 red lines, one on the room climate, one on the hot water, one on your notifications as well. A lot of your notifications, how they are described, makes it sound a lot worse than they actually are. What we want to do when resetting a notification is, if you have either of your heaters on, you will need to make sure they are off. I want you to click into them and see this. See the option to be able to turn these heaters on. Once that is done, once we have made sure that both of these are off, what I'd also like you to do is go into your resources, check that leisure battery level. If this is under 12.5 volts, this notification will not want to reset. Make sure it is above. If it is not, leave that notification there until you can plug your vehicle into power. Get that leisure battery up so that your notification can be reset. So we checked that both our heaters were off. We checked what our leisure battery level. The last thing I need you to check is your diesel level. So these 2 heaters will operate off of your diesel. It is not run off of the LPG. It is not run off of electrics. It is solely off of your diesel. If your room climate or your hot water, when these are off, if your diesel is under 1/4, you are also not going to be able to reset this notification. Leisure battery needs to be over 12.5 volts. Diesel needs to be over 1/4. Both heaters need to be off. So once that is done, once we have checked all those things, then we can go into our notification. It is a little bit tricky to be able to show you something without it being in front of you. You can't manually bring a notification up onto the screen. But what we would do is, instead of this, you will see a notification. What I'd like you to do is click on it. It will bring up a whole list of details referring to what your notification is. What you need to do is scroll down to the bottom. There will be a box in your bottom right corner that says declare issue resolved. I would like you to click into that. It will give you the option to reset this error, which is going to be above your home button. We need to press the home button. It will start resetting that error. Once that is done, it will pop up on the screen. This error is reset. If the issue persists, it may bring it up again. So once we've done that, we've scrolled to the bottom, we've pressed declare issue resolved, we've pressed the reset. If this issue pops up straight away again, you need to repeat that process. Not your checks, so you don't need to worry about your heaters being off, your leisure battery and your diesel. You have already done that. What I want you to do is click back into the notification a second time. Scroll down, press your declare issue resolved, reset it again, and that issue should be sorted. If you can't reset your notification following these steps, make sure these two are off, checking your leisure battery level and checking your diesel level, then resetting the error twice, you need to call us so we can help you through it. We do not want you getting locked out of your system. If you try repeating this reset too many times, this system is going to lock you out. It's a safety precaution they build into these systems. You do not want that to happen. You will not be able to heat your vehicle. You will not be able to heat your water, a very essential part of running your system. Once again, if you do have a notification pop up on your system, you'll have a red bar across your notifications, red bar across the hot water, red bar across the room climate. Make sure these two are off by clicking into them to see that you are able to turn them on. If they are off, we go into our resources to check our leisure battery level, make sure it's over 12.5 volts, check our diesel level, and then we need to reset this notification twice. If you can't do that, ring the office so we can help you out.